I'm on the way to the chippy because I'm hungry and fat. Good morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, YouTube. So, lovely evening here in Buckinghamshire, and yeah, it's just nice to be out on two wheels. So, lovely clear evening, sun's out, not too cool, really very good biking weather. So, yeah, can't complain at all really, except when cars don't indicate, but that's normal, isn't it? That's to be expected. So, yeah, cars, funny one. I've had quite a few cars of various nationalities and types, and one of the ones I had was, I've been involved in American cars quite a lot, and this was in the early days of the internet, where forums were really big. Forums still are really big, but this was in the days when there was no Facebook as such. It was a very, very new thing that barely really gained any ground. So I was a member of a third gen Camaro forum called Any Third Gen, and they were a good bunch of guys. They seemed like a good and up for a laugh, which is always good in my book. And at the time I was working in an industry which was very bonus based, so I'd had a good few months, and one of the guys on there, the chap I'm still in contact with, decided to hold a third gen nationals in the States. And that was great. So, do you know what? I thought, I've not been to America, I think I'll go ahead and do it. So, I spoke to him, I helped him out with a little bit with the organisation, only just for a few dollars his way, just to ease the cost. He was doing it out of his own pocket, just for the fun of it. So, yeah, so we went over, flights booked, went over to Maryland. But the first night I went into JFK Airport. The first night I was there, one of the other guys in the forum had said, oh, if you're in the New York area, I'm in New York, I'm in Syracuse, come up and see me. Alright, so I made my arrangements, and of course I got off the flight, having flown 8 hours over from Heathrow to JFK. I thought, you know, he's in New York, I'm in New York, how bad can this be? So we got in the hire car, and I headed first toll booth and said, oh, you know, am I in the right direction for Syracuse? They're like, sure buddy, just keep going, follow this road, just keep going. So I follow the road, and I follow the road, and of course I'm jet lagged and tired, and after following this road for what seemed like an eternity, I hadn't seen a sign for Syracuse yet. So anyway, eventually I find a sign. I'm still several hundred miles away, and turns out Syracuse is upstate New York, and of course New York State's probably most of the size of England. So well, eventually I got there, and so I'm now incredibly tired, and this guy says, oh, hey dude, let's go after this bar. So let's go to a bar. Yeah, sounds like a win. I could use a beer after all that travelling. So I leave my absolutely spanking new Chrysler in his trailer park, which was a little bit on the hokey side anyway. It was probably the best car they'd seen there, barring anything interesting, best new car they'd seen there for a while. And I left the car outside his trailer park. I was bundled into the back of his Trans Am with him and a mate. And we started driving away, and I couldn't help noticing that the lights of Syracuse were getting further and further away. I thought, that's odd, we're not going into Syracuse, I thought we was going to a bar. So eventually the lights of Syracuse are gone. We're in country roads. This is like Deliverance County, it's right in the middle of nowhere. And you know, coming from the UK, we don't really have the middle of nowhere in any serious ways. This is quite an alien experience for me. I'm in an unknown car with two people that I've only ever met online that I don't really know in person at this stage. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, what's going on here? Am I going to go and be murdered? And these roads get smaller and more remote and more mountainous, as upstate New York does for anyone that's ever been in that direction or up towards the Canadian border. It does get extremely rural up there. And we are in the absolute middle of nowhere. Eventually, in the middle of nowhere, we start slowing down and pulling off the road. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is where I'm going to be killed. I'm going to be cut up, killed, dismembered, my body dumped in a bag, and I'll never be seen again. This is how I die. I'm 28 years old, whatever I was at the time. I think I was about 28 years old. I'm going to die in a black bag, cut up by a chainsaw wielding maniac in Syracuse, and so forth. But anyway, we pull in, and it's actually like a redneck bar, like a dive bar. It's just in the middle of nowhere. And we pull in, and I'd heard about this local beer. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not going to have my organs harvested and part of the satanic ritual or goodness knows what. And turns out it's redneck bar, it's obviously very, very local, and everyone's talking, and we walk in there like, oh, hey, how you doing? Obviously knew my two friends very well. I said, oh, what you have? And my friend's like, oh, I'll have a Yingling, which is the local beer in the area. And the other guy's like, yeah, I'll have a Yingling too. They looked at me and said, dude, what do you want? And I'd heard about Yingling. And the weird thing that any British person in America can relate, I'm sure the same is true of Americans coming over to the UK, you immediately turn unbelievably English. So, in my sleep-deprived and relieved not to be murdered state, I turn around and, oh yes, I do believe I'll have a Yingling too, ha! And all of a sudden, the place goes silent. It's really funny. And I was like, where are you from? You're not from around here. Which is something you get a lot, particularly if you avoid the tourist trails. And from that point on, everyone was just so unbelievably friendly. It was unreal. And I think really the moral of what I'm trying to take away from that is even in places you don't know, yes, you do hear of situations where tourists run into trouble or people do get murdered, raped, beaten up, whatever, you know, insert any number of grievous things that happen into that spot. But I think the reality is people are more interested. If you've got an interesting backstory and you treat people with respect and you just have something to offer to a conversation, you know, just be yourself, and people respect that. And most of the places you go are generally fine. I must admit, the places I've been in my life, I've not travelled massively, but I've certainly left the country a good few times and been various places. I've had a few slightly hairy incidents, but the vast majority of people and experiences I've had have been enormously positive. So I would say, don't be afraid, get out there, don't stick to the tourist traps, mingle with the locals, because you'll be surprised. I've made some great friends through that first trip. I made some amazing lifelong friends, people I'm absolutely proud and privileged to call friends, and I had some wonderful, wonderful experiences. So there you go, it was a little bit of one of my experiences. I thought I was going to be murdered, but it turns out I was just in for a good evening. So do like and subscribe to this channel. We're going to have regular vlogs. Really, it's just going to be this sort of thing going up. We're going to have some mechanical things coming up. We've got a couple of other bikes in the stable which you're going to get to see fairly soon as well. So yeah, hit the subscribe button and see you soon.